Imagine a stage lit not by medical charts or cold hospital lights, but by something far more meaningful: the strength it takes to simply live your day. Think about it: the ability to walk steadily across the room, to carry a bag of groceries, to bend down and tie your shoes without pain. These small acts may seem ordinary, but they are extraordinary indicators of your body's true vitality. Research from Duke Health has revealed something remarkable for people over 70. These practical abilities are actually more reliable predictors of how long you'll live than whether you've been diagnosed with heart disease, diabetes, or even cancer. In other words, what you can do matters more than the label on your medical chart. Let's take this out of the realm of research and into real life. Picture yourself at 75 or 80, walking through the aisles of a grocery store. Your muscles work together in perfect harmony as you balance, push the cart, and reach for that box on the top shelf. It may seem like nothing, but what you've just done is a stunning display of resilience, coordination, and independence. Every step, every stretch, every small task is proof that your body and brain are still working together like a symphony. That simple scene of grocery shopping is a better sign of your health and future than any blood test or diagnosis. Now, I want to be clear: diseases are real, and they matter. But the absence of disease doesn't guarantee a long, vibrant life. Think about two people, both in their late 70s. One has mild heart disease but stays active, moves freely, and can take care of themselves. The other has no major diagnoses but struggles to stand up without help or gets winded just walking across the room. Science tells us that the first person, the one who moves with independence, is far more likely to live longer, and more importantly, to live better. This is what we call functional fitness, and it's the heartbeat of longevity. It represents freedom, adaptability, and confidence. And here's the most empowering truth of all: no matter your age, you can improve it. Your body has an amazing capacity to adapt even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. A simple walk around the block, a few minutes of stretching in the morning, light strength exercises using just your body weight or a pair of small dumbbells. These are not just workouts, they are investments in your future. Over weeks and months, these small steps add up, rebuilding strength, balance, and energy. Imagine waking up one morning and moving freely, without struggling to stand or catching your breath when reaching for a handrail. That's not just physical comfort, it's a profound sense of independence. It's the ability to say, I am still in charge of my life. And here's the thing: no pill, no surgery, no quick fix can replace what movement does for you. Medications may treat symptoms, but movement builds the foundation of health itself. Every time you stand up from a chair without using your hands, every time you choose to walk rather than sit, you are sending a message to your body: we are still alive, we are still thriving. That message ripples through your muscles, bones, heart, and brain, strengthening them in ways that science is only beginning to fully understand. So as you think about your health this week, don't just focus on numbers like blood pressure or cholesterol. Think about what you can do. Walk a little more, stretch a little further, challenge yourself just enough to grow stronger. Because when it comes to predicting how long and how well you'll live, the truest measure isn't found in a doctor's report. It's found in the simple, everyday movements that allow you to live life on your own terms. Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Can you feel it? A sense of peace, a flicker of excitement about life, no matter your age. That feeling is not just in your mind, it's a powerful force that shapes your health and your future. Researchers have discovered that your outlook on life, your sense of purpose, and the quality of your relationships can be just as strong, sometimes even stronger, predictors of how long you will live after 70 or 80 than any medical test or diagnosis. Think about that for a moment. Two people, both 80 years old, could have similar physical health on paper. One lives with joy, feels deeply connected to loved ones, and wakes up with a sense of gratitude. The other feels isolated, burdened by loneliness, and sees life as a slow decline. Even if their bodies seem the same, the one with joy and connection is far more likely to live longer, and just as importantly, live better. This isn't just theory, it's been proven. Studies have shown that people with strong social ties, positive self-rated health, and a hopeful outlook live years longer, even when they have chronic conditions. On the other hand, loneliness and depression are as harmful to the body as smoking or obesity. Loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally, it triggers inflammation, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, and early death. Imagine a grandparent sitting alone day after day, with no one to talk to and nothing to look forward to. Over time, their body responds as though under constant stress. Their sleep suffers, their immune system falters, their mind begins to fade. Now imagine that same grandparent surrounded by family and friends, sharing laughter over a meal, listening to stories, and feeling deeply valued. That warmth isn't just emotional, it changes their biology, their stress hormones drop, their heart beats stronger, and their brain lights up with vitality. Connection is currency, and it's more valuable than any prescription. Being seen, being heard, being loved. These are not luxuries, they are necessities for human health. Just as muscles need exercise and bones need calcium, our hearts and minds need belonging. It's easy to underestimate this. In a world that often glorifies independence, we sometimes forget that humans are wired for connection. Even something as simple as a regular phone call with a friend or a walk with a neighbor can transform your health. It doesn't have to be grand gestures. Small, consistent moments of connection add up like drops of water filling a well. If you've been feeling isolated, take one small step today. Call someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Join a local group or community center. Volunteer for a cause you care about. These actions don't just brighten your mood. They build resilience, they lower blood pressure, strengthen immunity, and even improve cognitive function. And just as important as connecting with others, is nurturing your inner world. Practice gratitude. Focus on what excites you, even in small ways. A favorite book, a new hobby, a simple walk outside. Optimism isn't about ignoring difficulties, it's about choosing to see the possibilities that remain. As you move through your 70s, 80s, and beyond, remember this: your health is not only in your muscles or your lab results, it's in the laughter you share, the bonds you nurture, and the joy you allow yourself to feel. When you invest in connection, you are not just adding days to your life, you are adding life to your days. Because in the end, it's not the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away, that define a truly long and meaningful life. Imagine the first light of dawn spilling gently through your window. The world is still quiet, and in that quiet, your body is listening. It's waiting for a signal, a cue to begin its daily symphony of hormones, energy, and renewal. And one of the most powerful signals you can give it is simple: breakfast, early, intentional, and aligned with the rhythms of nature. Research reveals something remarkable. Older adults who consistently ate breakfast earlier in the morning, around 7:50 a.m., lived longer, healthier lives compared to those who delayed their first meal to 8:50 a.m. or later. In fact, every hour of delay increased the risk of mortality by 11%. That's not just a number, it's a message that time matters, that our bodies crave structure, especially as we age. Our physiology is built on rhythms known as circadian cycles. These cycles are like the body's internal clock, orchestrating everything from metabolism to mood to immune function. As we grow older, these rhythms begin to lose their precision. It's why sleep can become fragmented, energy dips more pronounced, and mood changes more frequent. But here's the empowering truth: we can strengthen those rhythms through simple, consistent habits. One of the most profound of these is starting your day with an early meal. Eating soon after sunrise isn't merely about calories or nutrition, it's about communication. It's a way of telling every cell in your body it's time to wake up, to reset, to align. Picture a morning where you rise with purpose. The sun greets you, its light stimulating your brain to release serotonin, the mood-brightening neurotransmitter. You prepare a nourishing breakfast, perhaps a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries, a slice of whole grain toast, a cup of tea or coffee. As you eat, your body begins a cascade of metabolic processes: blood sugar regulation, energy production, hormonal balance. This isn't just breakfast, it's a powerful intervention against fatigue, depression, and disease. It's a step toward vitality. Now imagine the alternative: skipping breakfast or pushing it close to lunch. Your body drifts in confusion, the circadian clock falters, metabolism stumbles, and over time the consequences grow. Greater risk of cardiovascular issues, mood disorders, even shortened lifespan. What seems like a small decision, a delay of an hour, ripples outward, affecting the architecture of your health. This doesn't mean perfection or rigidity, it means awareness. It means honoring your mornings as sacred space, a daily opportunity to reinforce the foundation of longevity. Even if you've spent years with late breakfasts or skipped mornings altogether, change is possible. Start small. Tomorrow, try eating just 30 minutes earlier. Let that habit grow, like the dawn itself, until your mornings become a ritual of renewal. When you align your life with the rising sun, you're not just keeping time, you're keeping vitality. You're telling your body, I value today, I value this life. Each sunrise becomes more than a marker of age, it becomes a promise of potential. So tomorrow, when the light peeks through your window, rise to meet it, greet it with nourishment, with gratitude, with the quiet power of routine. Because longevity isn't found in dramatic gestures, it whispers in the small, consistent choices we make each morning. A new day is not just a gift, it's an invitation to live fully, starting with the very first meal. Imagine standing at 75 years old, looking in the mirror and thinking to yourself, maybe it's too late. Maybe my best days are behind me. It's a thought so many people have as they age, a quiet whisper that says there's no point in starting now. But what if I told you that science has proven, without a shadow of a doubt, that this belief is not just wrong but dangerously limiting? Research published in JAMA Internal Medicine shows that people who begin exercising between the ages of 70 and 78 actually live longer and feel less lonely than those who remain sedentary. This isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. It's about rediscovering vitality, strength, and purpose, even when the world tells you it's too late. Let me share a real story that embodies this truth. In Ireland, there's a man who began his fitness journey at 73. He didn't start with grand gestures or heavy lifting. Instead, he committed to light cardio, short bursts of intensity, steady strength training, and a high-protein diet. Today, at 93 years old, he stands as living proof of what's possible. His posture is strong, his muscles lean and capable, his heart resilient. Each workout, each meal, became a brick in the foundation of his health. What began as small steps turned into a legacy of vitality that now inspires people across the globe. This is the gift of science and the power of human will. It's never too late to begin. Even if you've spent decades sitting, even if your muscles feel weak or your joints stiff, the body is astonishingly adaptable. Muscles can grow, bones can strengthen, the heart can become more efficient, the brain can forge new neural pathways. Every single step you take sends a message to your body that says, we are still moving forward, we are still alive. Now I won't sugarcoat it. Beginning late in life requires courage. The first walks may feel slow, the first weights awkward, the first changes to your diet challenging. There will be moments of doubt, but with every effort, you reclaim something more powerful than physical strength. You reclaim agency. You take back the narrative that aging has to mean decline. You prove to yourself and to others that vitality doesn't have an expiration date. Imagine this: you start by walking just 5 minutes a day. Then you add light resistance, perhaps a pair of small dumbbells, or even household items. You focus on eating protein-rich meals, supporting muscle repair and growth. Over weeks and months, your posture begins to straighten. Your balance improves. The stairs you once avoided become effortless. Friends and family notice the glow in your face, the energy in your voice, and perhaps most importantly, your mood begins to soar. Movement isn't just a physical act, it releases chemicals in the brain that fight depression, loneliness, and anxiety. Your 70s or 80s can be a season of remarkable transformation. The science is clear. The clock doesn't dictate your vitality. you do. So rise, take that first step, and trust that your body will meet you there. Every push, every breath, every moment of effort is an investment in a future you thought was gone. Because the truth is, it's not too late. It never was. Imagine waking up each morning with a deep sense of excitement, knowing that today holds purpose, connection, and the chance to grow. Now imagine the opposite, waking up with nothing to look forward to, no reason to move, no spark to ignite your day. Science has revealed something profound. Our sense of purpose, our willingness to keep learning and engaging with life, doesn't just make our days brighter, it actually predicts how long and how well we will live. Longevity is not just about adding years to our lives, it's about adding life to those years. Consider Dr. Howard Tucker, a neurologist who, even in his 100s, continues to lecture, teach, and inspire others. He walks daily, eats a simple healthy diet, maintains social ties, and, most importantly, never allowed himself to fully retire from purpose. When asked about his sharp mind and vibrant health, he doesn't credit magic genes or luck. He credits staying engaged. This isn't an isolated case. Research on so-called super-agers, people thriving well into their 80s and beyond, found striking similarities. They were more active, often thinner, highly educated, socially outgoing, and relentlessly curious. Their choices, not just their genetics, created resilience. Here's why this matters so deeply. When you challenge your mind with new experiences, reading, solving problems, teaching, creating, you stimulate your brain to form new neural connections. Think of your brain like a garden. Without new growth, weeds of decline begin to take over. But when you feed it with knowledge and purpose, the garden thrives. Even small actions, like learning a new skill or volunteering at a local shelter, can have a profound effect. They keep the brain sharp, the heart engaged, and the spirit alive. Picture this, a centenarian standing before a lecture hall, voice strong, eyes alive with curiosity, speaking passionately to a group of young students. That image might seem extraordinary, but it's not just exceptional, it's essential. It shows us that vitality at any age isn't a coincidence. It's built through a lifetime of staying curious, of refusing to let the flame of purpose go out. When you wake up with something meaningful to do, your body responds, your stress levels decrease, your immune system strengthens, and your energy rises. And this isn't only about mental engagement. Purpose naturally leads to physical movement. A person who volunteers or pursues hobbies is more likely to get up, walk, travel, and socialize. These actions keep the cardiovascular system strong and reduce the risk of disease. Even the conversations shared during these activities lower feelings of loneliness, which has been shown to be as harmful to health as smoking or obesity. But here's the most empowering truth. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, you can find a new source of meaning. Perhaps it's mentoring someone younger, learning a language, painting, gardening, or joining a community group. The activity doesn't matter as much as the intention behind it. Longevity thrives on curiosity. It feeds on engagement. Purpose is the flame that keeps the mind sharp and the heart beating strong. So seek it today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today, in small ways or big ways, give yourself a reason to rise each morning with wonder and determination. When you nurture that inner spark, you're not just surviving the years ahead, you're truly living them, fully and beautifully. When we think about how long we'll live, it's easy to point to our family tree. Maybe you've said to yourself, my father passed away young, so I probably won't live much longer either, or my grandmother lived to 95, so I'll be fine. Genetics do play a role, but here's the truth. Science has revealed they matter far less than most people imagine. Studies on twins and large-scale longevity research consistently show that only about 20 to 30% of the variation in lifespan can be traced back to our genes. That means roughly 70 to 80% is determined by something far more powerful and far more under your control, your daily choices. Think about that for a moment. Every walk you take, every meal you eat, every night of good sleep, every meaningful conversation, these are not just habits, they are signals sent to your body, telling it how to age, how to heal, how to thrive. Even moderate leisure exercise, just a few hours a week, has been shown to add 4.5 years to life expectancy. That's not just a number on paper. That's hundreds of sunsets, countless family dinners, More laughter, more memories. Consider the communities we call blue zones, places around the world where people live well into their 90s and beyond, with remarkable vitality. At first glance, you might think there's something magical in the soil or the water, but when researchers looked closer, they found the secret wasn't geography, it was lifestyle. These people move naturally throughout their day, they eat simple, plant-heavy diets, they maintain strong social connections, and they live with a sense of purpose. They aren't defined by their DNA, they are shaped by the lives they lead. Now imagine someone with a family history full of health challenges, heart disease, diabetes, dementia. It's easy to feel doomed by that genetic script, but your genes are not a sentence. They are a blueprint, and blueprints can be altered by how you live. If you choose to sit most of the day, eat processed food, isolate yourself from others, and sacrifice sleep, you're essentially handing those risky genes the keys to your future. But if you walk daily, nourish your body with whole foods, build deep relationships, manage stress, and prioritize rest, you can silence many of those genetic risks. In other words, you become the author of your own story. Here's an example. Imagine two siblings with the same genetic predisposition to high blood pressure. One chooses a sedentary lifestyle, rarely moves, and consumes a high-salt processed diet. The other walks daily, eats fresh, balanced meals, and meditates to manage stress. Within just a few years, their health outcomes will look dramatically different. Same genes, different choices. This is the power you hold in your hands every single day. This isn't about perfection, it's about small, consistent actions. A short evening walk, swapping one sugary drink for water, reaching out to a friend instead of scrolling on a screen, going to bed a little earlier. These choices compound over time, like drops filling a bucket, until one day you realize you've built a foundation of resilience. So if you've ever felt trapped by your family history or afraid of the future, take a deep breath and remember this. Your DNA might whisper, but your lifestyle shouts. The habits you create can override even the strongest genetic cards you've been dealt. Walk, eat well, connect deeply, rest fully, and stay curious about life. That's not just the path to longevity, that's the legacy you give yourself and those who love you.